Hello and welcome back to the channel. Brandon with Davidson Audio, and today we are going to show you how to turn your boring OEM saddlebags to a more fun audio saddlebag. Like I said, we are going to be taking y'all through the process to turn your OEM saddlebag into a saddlebag that will accept a 10-inch mid-bass driver. Now, to clarify, we use mid-bass drivers versus subwoofers because due to the airspace, the rise in impedance of a subwoofer, and then you sealing and porting it, you would take a ridiculous size amplifier to push a subwoofer enough to get a good bass response. So we're going to be installing a mid-bass driver. If you're not familiar with it, Cicada Audio, but we're going to be using their CMB 10. It's their 10-inch carbon fiber mid-bass. Excellent speaker, takes a lot of power, and it gets down. All right, so this video is going to be a multi-part, or at least this process is going to be a multi-part video series, because in this video we're just going to show you how we install our 10-inch Nagy rings in our saddlebags. And then the next video, we're going to discuss the bracing and the port for the saddlebag. And then the final video, we will be putting the topper on top of it. And the topper just goes across here and seals this off, turning it into a complete enclosure, giving us a sealed area for the 10-inch mid to play and give us a nice sealed area, give you a lot more mid-bass and everything. So let's start by setting this saddlebag aside. We'll take you over to our other one and show you that process. All right, so to start this, now this is the process that we use when we install these in-house. Like I've said before, there's a million ways to skin a cat. You can do this multiple different ways to accomplish the same thing. This is just how we choose to do it, to make sure that there is literally no way that these could ever come out of the bag. So what you see here is we just kind of evenly space on the 10s, 6 holes. The 8s we do 4. And what we'll do is we'll pre-drill these on our drill press to get a nice straight hole. And then we use a screw with a T-nut style nut on the back of it. That way when we thread these in, they go right into the T-nut and actually have a good metal thread to lock into. And then when we pre-drill these holes, we'll set it in the Nagy ring. And as you can see, we've got our 6 holes drilled into here. And then we do a nice little countersink on them. So that way this ring goes in there, they bolt in, and then the screw holes are flush. Once the ring is installed in the bag with those bolts holding it, we'll run a Sharpie or a China marker, which is like a wax marker, along the inside to give us the inside diameter of this Nagy ring. And then we also do a pencil mark on the outside. And the reason we do that is so that way when we go to scuff this up, we can hit it with 80 grit sandpaper all the way around that surface area. We do the same thing with the surface area of the 10-inch ring. We put some panel bond on there, put it on the bag, we bolt it together. But at this point, we're going to drill a hole inside this, and then from the outside we're going to take our jigsaw and follow this line as close as possible, try to get within an 1/8 to a 1/16 of an inch to this mark, so that way we can router it out. So what you're going to see me do now is take the jigsaw from the outside, cut this out really close, then we're going to install the ring back in there, run the router on it to get it flush, and then we're going to sand them and panel bond them in. Now we have a matching set of bags with 10-inch holes in them. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take all 6 of our hardware off. We're going to scuff up the Nagy ring and the inside of the bag real quick. to get it ready for panel bond. And we're going to throw some panel bond in here, secure this back up, wipe it down, apply a little bit more on the inside edge, get a really good seal up on it. And then these are wrapped, so let's go ahead, get both of these sanded up, get some panel bond on them, and get them reinstalled. So off camera, like I told you before, we took the ring, we scuffed this up with a good 80 or even 30 grit sandpaper, whatever you have that's really rough. And then, like I'd said before, if you can see it, where our marks where we went ahead and sanded the inside of the bag here, just around this ring, to give us a nice, real secure, rough bonding area surface. So what I'm going to do is going to set these back. We're going to put a small bead, or a decent little bead, around these Nagy rings, and we like to just not go right where the screw holes are, so that way we can get the bolts in there and get them tightened down first. And then we fully torque them all down with the screwdriver, and then we will clean up the inside, make sure we don't have any globs. And then what I like to do, and this is just another unnecessary step, is I'll put another bead on the back side as far down as I can go, and run my finger along it to give it a nice little final seal area around there. When we go to seal and port these bags, we'll address this top piece to help fully seal this off. I mean, that's about it when it comes to this. So we're going to go ahead and get you over to time lapse. We're going to get these installed in the bag, get the rings installed in the bags, and then that's going to wrap it up for this video. As you can see, we are all finished installing our 10-inch Nagy ring in these saddlebags for our 2019 Indian Chieftain. I wanted to touch base on a few things before we wrap up the video. Again, these rings, which Nagy offers and we stock and sell, you can get them in either a single 8-inch speaker, which goes more back towards here, a dual 8, which is two 8-inch speakers, or a single 10. Now these work for the 2019 to current, more squared off saddlebags. As you can tell, these are not the rounded off saddlebags, they are the true newer saddlebags. So pretty much the Indian Challenger saddlebags. These rings will work in them. And like I said, there's a bunch of different ways that you can do that. I understand the way we go about doing it is most likely way overkill, but that's kind of how we do things here. We go above and beyond to ensure that, one, I don't want these rings ever coming out. I want to make sure that they're really held in there tight. There's other shops that will just do a couple of screws. They'll just screw it in and it holds in just fine. I've talked to Tim himself, and he told me that they usually use like a plastic weld. You can go to Home Depot or Lowe's. It's a two-part. You squeeze it out. You can put it on the ring, secure it in there, a couple of screws, and you're good to go. You'll see in a future video we're going to be putting our port in here and some bracing. The bracing will go from the back side of the ring to the inside of the saddlebag here. We're going to put two braces in there along with a port, but in the next video on this you will see that we're going to put the 10-inch mid base in here first to see what kind of clearance we have for both of those. Make sure that we plan this thoroughly through. I don't want to go putting a brace in here and realizing it's going to get into the way of the port, or vice versa. So always make sure you take the time to put your speaker in here, calculate everything, make sure it's going to fit correctly before you go doing that next step and put yourself in a situation where you can't undo it. So for that, I mean, that's about it when it comes to cutting these. We're going to let these dry before we go doing anything else. We're waiting on the toppers to come in. So next video on these, you'll see we're going to throw the ports in here, we're going to do some bracing. Then we'll take you through the process of putting the topper on here, sealing these up really good, and getting these completed. So we will be offering this service if any of y'all want to send your bags down and have us put the rings in, seal them, port them, the whole 9 yards. We're more than willing to do that for y'all. So if that's something that you want, make sure to give us a call. We'll talk about your options for that and what we can do for you. And just overall, really hope this video helped any of you that are thinking about doing this to your bike, so that way you know what's all entailed with putting these rings in your bag and how we like to do them in-house. And if you want to send your bags to us, this is how we will put them in your bags as well. So with that being said, please make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Give this video a like, share it, help spread the word so we can continue growing the channel. And also make sure you leave us a comment at the bottom to help us know what content that you would like to see in the future. You're going to see more and more in the build series of our Chieftain, as that's the next bike we're building. And then once we get some other products in, we'll be moving over to the Challenger, and then we'll also be doing more stuff to Bill's Challenger as well. So we have a lot more of that coming up for y'all. We have more Harley content coming in too, not just on our shop bike, but some customer shop bikes or bikes that are coming in for us to do. So just leave us a comment, let us know what y'all want to see. And again, that's about it. Make sure if you need anything, get a hold of us. So with that being said, I'm Brandon with Davidson Audio, and I'm out.